Welcome in, ladies and gentlemen. Gonna go live for a quick 30-minute stream or around 5 Battle Royale drafts, whatever happens first, really. Hope everyone's doing well. Still dealing with my back spasm a little bit over here, but we're on the mend. So, was a bit late getting ranks on the site this week. Went back to doing ranks today. I don't know if people prefer the ranks or the write-up, but this week I did mostly ranks with some lone guys. Survivor, I'm down to one team, and I'm going with the Patriots this week, personally. Now, I only have one team out of the 8. Really took a hit 2 weeks ago. But I would say it's quite a valuable team due to us having, if we just look at this team here from Ship It Nation, like they've used the Lions and the Packers. Two good teams, right? My team's used the Broncos, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, the Texans, the Colts, the Raiders. And now we're trying to get through with the Patriots. If you weren't choosing the Patriots, which again, I'm going to be, I think it's reasonable to, like the Chiefs are the team you pick if you're just trying to win, probably. Really want nothing to do with this game. I guess the Packers are a decent version of the Chiefs as well. It's not the worst spot for the Eagles. The Bears, pretty good pick too. And then, if you really want to get crazy, the winner of this game. This game, I don't know. Probably not. But, I'm going to choose the Patriots. They should be pretty popular, I would think. And, my goal is really just to kind of try to save the good teams and hope to make it through. And then, hopefully a lot of the teams get knocked out. But we'll probably end up talking less and less Survivor strategy if we go deep, just because it's like it becomes kind of a game theory issue, right? There's only 3,700 teams left right now. You guys can't really see that out of 16,000 here, so numbers are dropping fast. Kind of wish I didn't get risky here with the double Dolphins, double Giants, home dogs, but we had them in the first quarter, that's for sure. Anyways, what we're here for is week 7 DFS. Again, we're gonna keep this video probably like 30-ish minutes. 30-ish minutes. Yep, Debo's out. These are my ranks in the setup here. Let's get a little weird here. Let's go Rome and Lad. Pulling Lad way up here. You definitely can get Lad at the next pick if you are so inclined. I mean, I think Billy Boy, first off, Billy Boy just runs off the tongue. But if you're talking about DFS, salary cap DFS, they sound like decent clicks. Obviously, Zach Ertz is my favorite there. But you're gambling as far as like who could actually have a game. I slightly prefer Chris Moore more, I guess. But like very low confidence. In the Battle Royale streets, it seems really thin, but crazier things have gotten there. Rashee Rice, I'm jamming him personally. Like I have him ranked ahead of his Battle Royale rank. Josh Jacobs might not play, and I don't know if people are hip to that. So I have Josh Jacobs at the 6-7, well below his ADP of 2. And the Packers did a practice squad pull up of a running back, which is like, why would you do that? Probably because Josh Jacobs is questionable / the illness. All right, so the question is, are we getting weird at tight end or not? I guess the answer will be no for this one. But to compensate for that, we're going to get weirder at quarterback. Seems like a great week just to get some low-owned pieces, right? Because, I mean, when Josh Jacobs is the 102, 103 on the slate, it's a weird slate. All right, Terrell, you got it. I mean, I'm doing Battle Royale drafts, so you need to really clarify what you're talking about. Are you talking about DraftKings DFS? I can talk a little bit about that too. But that's not really how it works. It's like high ownership on a player does not make him a bad play. Right? Like you're never going to get Puka Nacua at 0% ownership, for example, but he's a good play. You know what I mean? So not all chalk is just bad. Uncle Ted here coming in hot. Ringing the bell for Juju Smith-Schuster. I think the weather is being a little overblown, Anthony. And if anything, it's a boost to both of them. For Achane, should just be more short ADOT targets. For Judkins, they should just run the ball more, So I don't think the weather is anything to be concerned about for the running backs at all. Yeah, I'm improving. I do think I've had like too many muscle relaxers or something because I woke up and just vomited. So not the exact start I wanted to the weekend, but we're going to do a quick 30-minute stream today. Something nice and tight. Because people they don't want to watch a 2-hour podcast about week 7 DFS. So quick 30 minutes today or 5 drafts. You guys are going to see how I navigate a couple of these. And we'll call it a night. Probably go to bed early. I mean, what's my prediction with James Cook? What I'm trying to understand, Bagel, is are you overreacting to 2 games? Obviously, James Cook's season is not indicative of the past 2 games. Who did I want to go here? Let's do a weird double. The Love, Golden, Kraft. If I'm going to take a chalk tight end, I want to make it weird. So I get low on quarterback, low owned. First off, just double stacking in general is going to be low owned for Battle Royale. Well, obviously, I'm not even convinced that the Washington wide receiver darts are going to be super chalky, right? Something that we know time and time again is when injuries happen late or when news comes late, the field tends to not react to them as if we had that information on Monday, right? So we got it relatively recently that Debo will not be playing. And it's what does the 3K wide receiver do for you? Or whatever their salary is. What does it even do for you this week? Who are the guys who you're like, oh, I got to get this guy in my lineup, Because this is a slate that doesn't have CMC. This is a slate that doesn't have Puka Nacua healthy. This is a slate that doesn't even have JSN. It doesn't have Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, right? So I'm not really convinced. Maybe they will be chalky, but what's chalky to you? 10%? Because, okay, there's going to be a ton of tight ends. Something I know for sure is you do not want all of your Battle Royale teams just to have these top tight ends. There is a compelling case for all of the tight ends this week. Zach Ertz, There's no, like, he becomes a much better play with no wide receivers. We'll take Rice there. Harold Fannin, there's no David Njoku. Mason Taylor, there's no Garrett Wilson. Michael Mayer, there's probably no Brock Bowers, right? So there's like infinite tight ends to make the case for. So getting a low on tight end in daily drafts makes a lot of sense to me. And then at the same time, in salary cap DFS, like, would you rather have a 3,500 Zach Ertz or a 3K, Luke McCaffrey? People just tend to not want to play a guy who stat line could be like one catch for 12 yards, So I don't know, though. I don't pretend to be super plugged into the ownership of salary cap DFS. Just my opinion there. Just had a bad back spasm, kind of an old college injury. Yeah, there's going to be a chalk game, right? The obvious chalk game this week is Cowboys. Let's just pull this up. Cowboys Commanders is going to be the chalk game. And these totals are courteous of Fantasy Labs. A total of 54.5, which has been bet up 6 points. The next highest is the Colts Chargers at 48.5. So a full touchdown less. So obviously that's going to be the chalk game. So for salary cap DFS, it's going to be Jaden Daniels, Dak, Ferguson, Lamb, George Pickens. And then I really think the ownership's probably going to go to JCM and Zach Ertz. And because people, like, they just don't want to pick when it's like, oh, maybe it's Ladd, maybe it's Chris Moore, unless you have a real read there. Do Ladd again. Chargers have the Colts have a bunch of secondary injuries. I want to get this out in the air. The phrase 6'7" is banned from my chat. We're not doing that. As someone who teaches middle schoolers chess, that's something they do. We're not doing that here. Okay. Mr. Chess. So yeah, I'm definitely higher on Rice in the market. Maybe I should have taken Achane just because he's usually not available here. And again, I think the people taking Josh Jacobs at 2, like, he could be injury swapped here. Whittington, he's not on the main slate, but yeah, he's playable. Me, Ron, and Jacob have a decision of playing Kyle Pitts or Jordan Whittington in tight end premium. I think Jacob wants to do Whittington. I'm kind of indifferent. I see the validity to both of them. I think it is a little risky for Whittington, but he could also just have 10 targets or something. I just don't think we need 30-second clocks on these. I get that people are mostly multi-tabling them, but if we could do BBM with 20-second clocks, we can do these with 20-second clocks. Not like you can't multi-table with 20-second clocks, Let's get Mr. Herbert in there. Mr. Herbert. Well, the volume guys And they're some of the biggest crybabies. You can on your phone. That's the problem. You can't what? Multi-table, Steve? You definitely can. So, yeah, I think it's a great week to get a little weirder at tight end. And we're going to get real weird on this one, folks. Taysom Hill. We all know the week is coming. Okay, he played 12 snaps last week. He played 9 snaps. He played 9 snaps 2 weeks ago. He played 12 snaps last week. That's obviously not a lot of snaps. But there is going to be a week. I don't know when. You don't know when. He's only going to play 20 snaps, and he's going to score 30 points. You know? So I think being ahead of the Taysom Hill explosion is the way to play it. Because the second that game happens, boom, now he's a tight end picked in every one of these. So I don't hate it. With the windy game, maybe he'll get used a little bit more. I think Alvin Kamara is also banged up a little bit. I might even play Taysom Hill in salary cap DFS. He's $3K on DraftKings. Now, it is tough because, again, Harold Fannin, no Njoku. Mason Taylor, no Garrett Wilson. Zach Ertz, no anyone. So Zach Ertz one especially feels pretty free, but plus the chalk guys, right? These are the chalk guys. Michael Mayer probably, but you simply cannot project Taysom Hill. I liked Tommy Tremble a little bit too, but I think Jatavian Sanders is back at practice and Jalen Colker's back. So that is now a no for me, for him. So my second favorite game, if I'm not stacking up Commanders Cowboys, and the game I probably am going to stack up is the Saints Bears game. Just try to kind of get weird there. Probably play some pieces from this game, but that's how I see it going. I don't think Jacoby Myers might not play. So Jack Beck is not even that crazy of a shout. We'll do Jefferson this time. What's the latest there? Are we getting McCarthy? No, he's out. Emergency third quarterback. Man, the Vikings are trolling. This feels good. Yeah. I mean, is that really what the Steelers need? I guess. The Steelers are kind of a funny team to go all in, right? Because it's we all kind of know that their season will end eventually. But it's fun, right? I was someone who was not out on Aaron Rodgers. I was not out on DK Metcalf. I said this whole time, it's look, man, he had an Achilles injury. He wasn't supposed to play. He played, and he looks much better. I don't know if the Pats make any moves either. If someone did land A.J. Brown, though, they seem like the clear team that would. Which I just don't see happening. I mean, realistically, this is fun. Not many people are going to go three wideouts. Realistically, we're probably going to get Allen Lazard traded to the Steelers, and that's it. But if we're going to dream, I think dreaming about these Saints wideouts landing on the Bills is fun. I don't think it makes any sense for the Saints to trade Chris Olave or Rashid Shaheed, mainly due to man, the Jets are so bad. Whatever. Yeah, I just don't think it makes a lot of sense for the Saints to trade the wide receivers because and the Bills I don't think are panicking quite like the public is, right? Like I think from the Bills' perspective, they didn't have Dalton Kincaid. Josh Palmer exited the game with injury, and Curtis Samuel couldn't play. And they probably view themselves as a much different offense when at least two of those guys are healthy. Because all of them can kind of beat man coverage. So it would be fun to have like Rashid Shaheed on the Bills, stretching defenses. But again, like, why would this? What are you going to get for Rashid Shaheed? Are you going to get like a 3rd round pick? Are you going to get a 4th round pick? And then you're going to draft a quarterback next year. And then who are they throwing the ball to? You know? Bills D. Yeah. And I don't think the Bills are panicking about the Bills D either because don't get me wrong, it's been bad. If any position that they trade for, I would like them to trade for a safety. Safeties are usually cheap and they're safe. Like Taylor Rapp has been terrible. But from the Bills' perspective there, they drafted a corner in the 1st round. He's been on IR, so they're going to get him. And they have 2 guys suspended for PEDs. They're going to get those guys too, you know? So I don't think, like, the Bills realistically are going to get reinforcements. Plus, you have Matt Milano banged up. You had Ed Oliver banged up. Like, and, you know, it's kind of crazy. Like, the Bills could have won both those games pretty easily. At the end of the Pats game, like, Drake May was sacked, but then he just got out of that sack. They would have been out of field goal range, right? At the end of the Falcons game, Penix threw a pick 6 and the linebacker dropped it. So it's like, it's not like they're getting blown out in these games. So I don't think anyone's panicking in Buffalo. All right, we'll go chalk. We'll just go super chalk for this one. We got a little bit of a discount on Rome Odunze. Barely. A little bit of a discount on Tucker Kraft. So it's okay to have some pure chalk ones in there. We'll do like 2 more. So I've drafted a ton of Olave in Best Ball World. And his expected fantasy points are insane every week. He just hasn't had the touchdowns. I have a chess friend who just texted me out of the blue. He said, I like Chris Moore on Washington this week, probably available in some of your leagues. I'm just dead that I mean, Chris Moore is not a yeah, he's like a fine DFS shout, but he's not a guy who are like running to the waiver wire for. What should I say? I'm gonna just say good looks. Who doesn't like a guy coming off a touchdown, you know? Yeah, maybe I'm wrong, Terrell. I got literal, you know, I don't actually know how into fantasy football my friend is, but I don't think he's like a insane person like us. And so he's texting about Chris Moore. Maybe Chris Moore's going to be chalk. I don't think so though. I mean, this is clearly a troll. I mean, newsflash, you don't control who you play. Yeah, this is, I mean, I think he's just trolling Terrell. People want to get a rise. That's fair. It's fun, right? A little bit of trolling is fun. I would imagine the Bills are still Super Bowl favorites, but maybe it's the Chiefs. I don't know. Who do we think, guys? Who do we think are Super Bowl favorites right now? Mahomes without Rice is not fun, but whatever. Let's see. Super Bowl favorites. Yeah. Looks like this ESPN has the Bills and Chiefs 1 and 2, and then the Packers and Lions 3 and 4. If you can find some big numbers, like, come on, no, dude. I'm sorry, but like people who are clamoring for the Colts, they're the same people who were clamoring for the Dolphins when they made the playoffs. And I was like, no, the Dolphins are a joke. Let's be serious. And lo and behold, a year or two later, they're viewed as jokes. They're also the same people who thought the Vikings last year were going to make a lot of noise. And I was like, no, come on. It's Sam Darnold. Sam Darnold is going to show himself. You just wait a second. They were the same people who were really into the Joe Flacco team because Joe Flacco was gambling out there and getting home. You know, it's like, yeah, the Colts are fun. Could they beat a team like Buffalo, Kansas City? Absolutely. They could. What's more likely to happen? They lose by 10 plus, right? The Colts feel like the team where it's like, if you're a fan of the Bills or Chiefs, you hope that the Bills or Chiefs, the team you don't root for, faces the Colts because you're like, oh, maybe the Colts would do our job for us, you know? No, but I think the Ravens are not the craziest Super Bowl bet if you can get some long odds there. All right, we're gonna go chalk at tight end. And then, yeah, just like someone super chalky. Yeah, why not? Gene T. Maybe this is the game Gene T can get like 10 catches. Pretty big news for best ball land. We are going to get Mike Evans back this week, I think. We are going to get George Kittle back this week. For sure. Those are big for my bags. And then we're getting Rice back. So best ball has just been flipped on its head, basically. And it seems like Emeka Egbuka even practiced. Yeah, I mean, I'm rooting for the Ravens' demise just because their fans are like crazy cocky, but it's if they can get Lamar back, They got the Bears, Dolphins, Vikings, Browns, Jets, Bengals, Steelers, Bengals, Pats, Packers, Steelers. Like literally one hard game. And that's just kind of the NFL. There's like 500 teams who you can point out have a very easy schedule. The Pats schedule, another super easy schedule. Look at this. Titans, Browns, Falcons, Bucks, Jets, Bengals, Giants, Bills, Ravens. Like these are the two hard games. Jets, Dolphins. The Bills schedule gets a little harder from here, but still, it's like they get the Panthers. Okay, Chiefs, difficult game. Dolphins, Bucks, Texans. These games are like harder, but not crazy. Steelers, Bengals, probably without Joe Burrow. Pats. I think the Pats are still like a year away from being a real legit playoff threat. I think they'll make the playoffs, but Browns, Eagles. So they have a harder schedule, but they've also played, the Saints, the Dolphins, the whatever. So it's kind of hard to have a difficult schedule, is what I'm trying to say. All right. This is the Rashee Rice is a decoy game. Mahomes, JT, GT, Worthy, Brown, Jake Ferg. Why not? How many did I do, folks? Was that 5? You know what? We'll do one more. If you have any slate specific questions, let me know. Again, in future weeks, I plan to have this out usually by Friday or Thursday. Try to have rankings out in a video about the slate. But yeah, again, the back is winning right now. We're on the men though. How likely do you think it is for Ibuka to play? I mean, using logic, Brian, I would say not that likely, but he did practice. So I really don't know what to tell you there because, okay, this is week 7. This is week 8. They have a bye on the horizon, right? Because they have a week 9 bye. But he did practice. So in full, I think, which you typically don't do. Let's take Achane this time. Why not? Achane, one of my guys. Let's see. Emeka Egbuka. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. So why not? This seems like a fun way to play the game. The Achane Judkins stack, aka the win concerns are real. Yeah, like I have a team here that is it's first in points and its first round pick was Brock Bowers. So really it's first in points without even a first round pick. And I have Emeka Egbuka And Brock Bowers, Brock Bowers, I don't know if he's officially been ruled out either. He doesn't have a brace, which is nice. But again, he has a week 8 bye. So you would think that teams are just going to be smart that can afford it with Puka, Igbukah, and Bowers, but I guess the Raiders can't afford it. This is a really weird one where the quarterbacks all just kind of went. Now, something to ask ourselves is like, is the tight end so meaningful that we are okay getting off of a wide receiver like Ladd? And I think this time we'll decide, yes, why not? It's Trey McBride. Who cares who his quarterback is? So I currently plan to bench Igbukah for Travis Hunter unless we get... Well, that's what stinks too, because it's like this is a Sunday morning game. Travis Hunter. We got Kincaid on bye. We got Bowers out, so I'm playing Tyler Higbee. The team, again, it's first in points, so that's good, but it's got reinforcements coming. Lost Jaden Reed too. Lost Lamar for some time being. All right, we get Ladd anyways. That's pretty good feeling. No, I don't. But it's a pretty good spot for Barkley. Like, just think back at what Kenneth Gainwell was doing against the Vikings, and the Eagles are coming off losses where they couldn't run. So, yeah, I'm not going to be like going there in salary cap world, but you could easily see this being the game where he gets right. I am higher on these wideouts, though, Jefferson and Rice and Lamb, personally. So if you don't have to play Sunday morning guys like I do, because like if I don't play Travis Hunter, I guess I could gamble and play like Luther Burden, but it's like, man, it's getting really thin. And the guy has Jamar Chase against me. So like if I have any inkling of winning, I need a good game. But you might get the Jay Glazer report as far as Emeka Egbuka. But again, logically, I don't see why they risk it with him. I've been doing this stack, and it's been working for me the past couple of weeks, the Achane Waddle stack, so we're doing it again. Man, 2 is so brutal. Okay, can we go there? Maybe we just take a rushing quarterback. No, I think Travis Hunter's game is coming, man. He ran the snaps last week. When you run the snaps, the scores will come. Like last week was a huge improvement, not box score wise, but we want to look past the box score. Maybe we just do Herbert. Yeah, we'll do Herbert. We're not brave enough to play Tua right now. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Might be live tomorrow for a little Sunday morning quick. Oh, no, with the Sunday morning game, probably not. I'll probably just watch the game. Maybe I'll go live during halftime to answer some start sits. Other than that, yeah, if your choice is Golden, I would just play Golden. Jeez. Questions are coming in at the end here. Would you give up a late first for Debo and a fourth? That doesn't... I don't play Dynasty, but a first round pick for Deebo Samuel for like a 1 to 2 year rental seems like a bad deal. So I don't know. First round, all I really know about Dynasty is first round picks are meaningful. It's like, just think about that this year. That was Tyler Warren. That was infinite guys, right? So I think in Dynasty, you search for a better piece than Deebo. Anyways, folks, that's what I got for you today. Went 10 minutes over. Good luck this week. Like, subscribe, beatbestball.com if you want ranks. I am mainly a best ball site, but that's what we got for the in-season. Join the Discord. The link is below, and good luck.